Hello YouTube, it's Opposite Irony. Here again with a new deck profile. Today I'm going to be showing you my Adagnister deck post Lightning Overdrive. And yeah, this deck got a lot stronger with the new cards that came from Lightning Overdrive. And the amount of combos you can do is kind of insane, I'm not going to lie. And once I'm done doing the deck profile, at the very end I'm going to go ahead and show you a one card combo tutorial on how to basically get Arrival Cyberse Adagnister with the Cyberse lock, and I'll go ahead and explain that when I get to that point. But it is a one card combo, and I'll get into that once I'm done with the deck profile. But just without further ado, I'm just gonna get right into it. So for starters, with my Adagnister deck, I play triple Achichi Adagnister. This card's basically your Stratos. It searches all of your Adagnister monsters, and usually this is going to be the core card for your one card combos. Just because this can search for literally your entire deck, honestly. And the next card I play 3 of is going to be Triple Bakari Adagnister. This card's also Stratos, but it's going to search for your eye spells and traps. And the reason why that's really good is because usually Achichi is going to search for Bakari, and Bakari can then search for any of your eye spells and traps, and that lets you get access to your field spell, Idol Reborn, which is a monster reborn, or I Meet You, which is the new card that came in Lightning Overdrive, and that also basically searches the rest of your deck. So just the amount of options you have there are just really, really good with the new cards that came out. So I think you definitely need to max on these 3. These cards are just so good in the deck. Yeah, I play 3 and 3. They're just your searches for your monsters and your spells and traps. Next, I play 2 Doyon Adagnister. This card's really cool, and it's really really essential in the combo as well. Basically, just on summon, you recycle any Adagnister from grave to hand, and then if it's used as link material for a link summon, you just get any eye spell and trap from your grave to hand. So it just helps you recycle 2. I guess technically you could play 1, but I think 2 is a healthy amount. You want to see it, but you don't always want to see it, and it's searchable, so you don't really have to see it all the time. So I think it's really good as a 2 of. The next card I play is going to be 1 Boruru Adagnister. This card is your tuner of the deck, and also very essential for the combo. Basically, on summon, it Foolish Burials any Adagnister, which usually going to be your Dunmari. But in the combo, I'm going to show later, you're going to end up Foolishing your Doyon instead. And then if it's used as material for a Synchro Summon, you also have the option to special summon the other material used for that Synchro Summon as well. That's basically all Boruru does, but when I get to the combo, I'll explain why it's really essential in it. And then I play 1 Hiyari Adagnister. I actually really like this card a lot. Basically, a lot of people play it just because it's an extender. Because as long as you control an Adagnister monster, you can special it from your hand. I actually like to play it for its actual effect, where on top of being able to summon it from your hand, as long as you have an Adagnister monster, you could also tribute one other Cyberse monster you control, add a level 5 or higher Adagnister from deck to hand, and if you specifically tributed a Cyberse Link monster, you can also have the option to add a Eyes Ritual from deck to hand, which is, again, very essential for the combo. I actually do play Ritual monster in here. I'll get to that when a little later in the deck profile, but yeah, this is very essential, but it's searchable, so that's why I only play a 1 of, and if you draw it, cool, it's an extender. Next, I play 1 Gachiri. Again, it's just another extender in the deck. And this is usually going to be your prime target for Hiyari, but if you already drew into Gachiri, then you could probably just search for Dunmari. That way, it's just another way to get it in the graveyard. But Gachiri is just an extender that is going to be your target for Hiyari's effect. Just summons itself from the hand. And then again, 1 Dunmari. This is one of the new cards that came out in Lightning Overdrive. Just as long as you have a Link 6 monster you control, you can banish it from the graveyard. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent or not face-up monster, any face-up card actually, and just negate its effects. So it's basically it gives you an Omni-Negate on your opponent's turn as long as you have a Link 6, which is very easy to do in this deck. But just a 1 of I think is fine because it's easy to get in the graveyard. And then for the last Cyberse monster I play 1 Cyberse Magician. This is the ritual monster I'm playing, and again, like I mentioned earlier, there is a 1 card combo I can do in this deck where it gives you Arrival Cyberse Adagnister with 4,000 attack and the Cyberse lock, because Cyberse Magician states that as long as you control a Link monster, your opponent cannot target monsters you control for attacks or card effects. And because Cyberse Quantum Dragon shares that exact same effect, if you control both of them, your opponent can't target or attack any monsters you control as long as those monsters are face up on your field. So it's just a Cyberse lock. Like, your opponent can't do anything. The only weakness to that is like a Kaiju, or like non-targeting destruction, or just non-targeting removal in general, or just like mass destruction. But not every deck plays that, and not every deck has ease of access to those cards as well. And even when this card dies by a card effect, which is usually how they're going to out this card, you also get have the option to search for any Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. So you basically set up for a next turn play on top of your opponent breaking your board. So I think it's a really cool card, and it's very easy to summon as long as you, I'll show you in the combo how it's done. A little intricate, but it's fairly easy to summon. And then that's it for me. For most of the monsters. After that, I just play hand traps. I just play triple Ash Blossom, and then triple Nibiru. It's just whatever hand traps you want. It's just, this is one of my more competitive decks, so I try to put more competitive staples in here, I guess. So I put more competitive, like more meta relevant hand traps in here. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want. That's it for all the monsters. For the spells, I play triple Ignister Island. This is basically the glue that holds this entire deck together. The popsicle sticks is propping this thing up, literally. Basically what this card does is that as long as you have no monsters in your main monster zones, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Ad Ignister from your hand. It's not once per turn. The only restriction is that you can't summon a monster with this effect again with that same attribute. So for example, if I summon a Chi-Chi with that effect, I can't summon fires with this effect anymore. But I could still summon a light, a dark, a water, a wind, an earth, it doesn't matter. So you can essentially proc off this effect 6 times in a turn, and this is what makes this deck so strong in my opinion, because not only do you have the option to vomit your hand like very easily, but if you are hand trapped or Nibiru or anything like that, like, it's very easy to come back because you can just constantly keep playing. Like, you can constantly just keep summoning monsters from your hand, and this card is just the blood of the deck. Like, this is what makes the deck function. The problem in the past with this deck was that this card wasn't really that searchable. But with the new Link 1 Dark Infant and Ignister, it basically searches it on summon. So the deck's just way more consistent than it was before. I've seen some people play it at 1 because it's so searchable. I still think you should play it at 3, because if your opponent ashes your Dark Infant and you don't get access to this, then you're basically not playing at all. Or if it gets Galaxy Cyclone, or if it gets destroyed or whatever, you just can't get it back, you're not doing anything. So I still think playing 3 is a good idea. That's just personal preference, I guess. But you definitely at least need to play it. Then I play triple I Meet You. This is the new card that came out in Lightning Overdrive, and man, oh man, is this little spell, this little common spell card is... Whew. Basically, you reveal a Cyberse monster from your hand or extra deck with 2300 attack, and then you just search for any Ad Ignister from your deck with the same attribute as that monster. So it's just a search card, literally. But it's cool that the search card is searchable with Picari, and Picari is also searchable by a Chi-Chi, and a Chi-Chi is also searchable by this. So it's like everything in your deck is just searchable now because of this card. And I think it's a definite 3 of, in my opinion. It just locks you into only activating Cyberse monster effects. But I mean, the whole deck is Cyberse, so that doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's just a really good card nonetheless. Helps this deck just function a lot better than before. Next I play triple Idol Reborn. It's just a quick play in Archetype Monster Reborn. I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't be playing this. It's a free and extender. It's just a really good card. It could even summon your like bigger Link monsters too from the graveyard. I also play, because I do play the one Cyberse Link monster, I do play one Eyes Ritual, and this is what you're going to use to summon it out, because he already does search for this. Basically, you can use this to summon Ritual summon any Cyberse Ritual monster from your hand, but you have to tribute Ad Ignister monsters from your hand or field that equal or exceed that level. But if you do control an Ad Ignister monster on the field, you can banish the materials from the graveyard instead of tributing them, which is really, really good. Because another card, like I said, you're going to search this off Hihari, but another card you're going to search off Hihari is going to be Gachiri. And Gachiri is a level 8, the Ritual monster is a level 7. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying there. You're just going to banish the Gachiri from grave. So it's just really easy to summon the Cyberse Magician. But yeah, this is the ritual card you're going to use to summon it. But I also do play one Signet Ritual because the main way you're going to search for the Cyberse Magician is going to be with Cyberse Witch's effect. And for Cyberse Witch's effect to work, you specifically need to search for Signet Ritual on top of searching a Cyberse Ritual monster. So if you can't search for this, you can't search for Cyberse Magician. So this is the only Garnet you're playing in the entire deck. But I do play a card in my extra deck that lets you put it back in your deck if you do hard draw it. So it's not the end of the world if you do draw it, especially since a lot of your combos are one-card combos. So you don't need a whole lot of cards in your hand to get it started. But yeah, this is the only Garnet you're playing in your deck. And this is the card you use to Ritual Summon your Cyberse Magician. The next card I play triple Signet Mining. Card's just insane. It, again, searches more than half your deck, so it's really good. I play one Called by the Grave just because an Ash can really hurt you. Man, it's just a good card. It's a good staple card. I play one Pot of Avarice just because you don't play a whole lot of Adagnister monsters, at least not as much as you would play before Lightning Overdrive. So this just helps you put a lot of those cards back in your deck so you can make future plays. And on top of that, you're always going to have monsters in the graveyard, and it gives you 2 free cards for free. It's a straight up +1. So I think it's a definitely good choice to play. I think 1's alright. You don't need it, but if you have it, it's always welcome. And then just for some power cards, just Monster Reborn, Regeki. Nothing much to say about those. That's it for the spells. And then just for the only traps that I play in the deck, I just play Triple Solemn Strike. Just because it's a really good trap card. It's a counter trap, so your opponent can't really chain to it unless you have another trap card that's a counter trap, such as Solemn Judgment or like Red Reboot or anything like that. It can stop monster effects. It can stop inherent summons, and at the cost of 1,500 life points, that's not a lot. And as long as it helps you win the duel, like, I mean, I'll pay anything really, you know. So I think it's a really, really good card, especially since a lot of the cards you do play, or like a lot of the cards you need to get your plays going, are just one cards, like a Chi-Chi. A Chi-Chi gives you so many avenues to do anything in the deck, so that if you do have the other 4 cards, if you have 1 or 2 Solemn Strikes in your hand, hey, those are 1 to 2 negations you have on your opponent's turn. So that's why I really like Solemn Strike over like other cards. But I mean, I guess anything realistically works. But that's it for the whole main deck. I'll just get started in the extra deck. For starters, I played 2 Dark Infant. This is what gets you your Ignister Island, and without this, man, this deck would really suck. But on summon, you get Ignister Island, and then it has a secondary effect where if a monster with 2300 attack, if a Cyberse monster with 2300 or more attack activates its effect, you can just move this card to a zone it points to, and then change its attribute. That seems very obscure, very weird, but it comes up in the combo. I'm going to show you later. But that's basically all Dark Infant does, and honestly, all it really needs to say is just search for Island, which it does. The other Link one I play is one Link Disciple. I used to play Lingaribo, but I took out Lingaribo mainly because Lingaribo functioned just as like a building block Link monster, and this basically fulfills that same role. But it also has a secondary effect where you contribute 1 monster this card points to, and it points straight down. Contribute 1 monster this card points to, draw 1 card, then place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. So that way, if you do draw your Signet Ritual, or if you do draw your Cyberse Magician, which isn't the end of the world if you do draw it, or just any other card in your deck that's just not going to benefit you, you can just put it back and get a free draw. So it's a pretty decent card. You could do it as long as you have an extender in your hand too. So I think it's just a decent one of. Then I also play 1 Link Spider, just because if you get Nibiru, getting Nibiru doesn't hurt that much. What really hurts about getting Nibiru is having that token on your field and not being able to resolve Island's effect, because you have a monster in the main monster zone. This way, you can just link off the token for Link Spider, and then just continue playing like nothing even happened. So that's why I play the 1 Link Spider. Then for some Link 2s, I play 1 Cyberse Witch. This is basically what's going to get you your Cyberse Magician from your deck, and it's very easy to like proc its effect. You just need to special summon the monster this card points to, and then during the main phase, as long as you activated that first effect, you can revive any level 4 or lower Cyberse from your graveyard, and it does not negate its effect, which really comes up in the combo. I'm going to show you in a bit. So it's a really, really good card. And then I play 1 Cyberse Wicked. This just searches for your Brewer when something's summoned to a zone it points to. Really good as well. I play 1 Splash Mage, just because it helps you climb into Link 3s, and it's just relatively generic in the deck. Then for the last Link 2, I play 1 Underclock Taker. The only reason why I play this is because if you Nibiru your opponent and you're sitting with a 3000 Nibiru monster on your field, you're not going to be doing much because that monster is also just on your field. It's clogging up your main monster zones. You can't resolve Ignister Island's effect. And there's no... I don't play any other Link monsters that gets rid of it besides Underclock Taker. It's just a generic Link 2 Cyberse monster. Technically speaking, I think Pentastag would be a lot better than Underclock Taker just because it has better stats and it can provide piercing. But honestly, like, I think they're both fine. You're just going to use it to get rid of Nibiru on your field. At least that's what I play this for. And then for some Link 3s, I play one Transcode Talker just because it revives something back from the graveyard. It can push for damage. It's just a really good card all in all. And then I also play one Shooting Code Talker. Now, the whole reason why I play Shooting Code Talker is not because it's good, and it's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. But the only reason why I play it is because it's a Cyberse monster with 2300 attack that's water. And the whole reason why I do that is with I Meet You, you can reveal Shooting Code Talker from your extra deck, and you could just add Hiyari from your deck to your hand, which again is very essential to the combo I'm going to show you in a little bit. So that's the whole reason why I play Shooting Code Talker. But there's times where I summon this, and I mean, I resolve its effect, would let you attack multiple times, draw multiple cards if you destroy cards. It's not a bad card at all. I don't play Access Code. Access Code Talker is a really expensive card. I am not going to buy that. So yeah, I just don't play that. Just a heads up. I also play one Cyberse Quantum Dragon. This card is also going to be part of your Cyberse lock. It's just a really cool card that can bounce cards back for free, and your opponent can't target monsters you control with card effects or attacks except for this one, as long as you have a Link monster. So that's the reason why I play that. And then just one Light Dragon and Ignister. That's going to be your light target for I Meet You, and it's just non-targeting pops cards for free. It's pretty cool. I summon it sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it comes up. And then Fire Phoenix at Ignister. The whole reason why you play it is because it's a 2300 tech Cyberse that's fire. It searches for a Chi-Chi with I Meet You. And it also has a pretty decent effect where as long as you attack something after damage calc, you just burn for 2300 attack. So like, if your opponent's really low, you can just swing with it. Doesn't matter if you're bigger or smaller, you're just going to burn for 2300. So it can push for games sometimes. But that's the whole reason why I play it. One Dark Templar. This card's dumb because if something summons to a zone it points to, you just vomit cards from your graveyard, and then you just Link Climb like crazy. And it also searches for Doyon with I Meet You. And then for your biggest boss monster in the deck, the whole goal, the big prize, Arrival Cyberse at Ignister, your Link 6 monster. It gains 1000 attack for each material used for its Link summon. And once it's also unaffected by any card effect, so this card's really hard to out. Usually you're going to get them at least 4,000, at least 3,000, but more often than not 4,000 at the very least. That's unaffected by card effects. And then once per turn, you can just target one monster in the field, pop it, and summon a token to zone it points to. That's really good. Free popping, a free monster you can do whatever you want with, unaffected by card effects, and he's really, really big. Like, this card is the definition of a boss monster. And again, you have a one card combo that can summon him with the Cyberse lock. And I'm about to show you right now. So strap in, because I'm strapped in. So all you need is a Chi-Chi. This is the only card you need to pull this combo off. So if you want to do this combo, all you have to do is normal summon a Chi-Chi, effective a Chi-Chi. To search, you're going to go ahead and grab Picari at Ignister. Then you're going to link off a Chi-Chi for Dark Infant right there. Let's see if you guys can see that. Yeah. Dark Infant effect is going to activate to go ahead and grab you your Ignister Island. Ignister Islands, you're going to activate your Ignister Island over here. And then effective Island, special summon Picari right here. Effective Picari is going to trigger. It's going to go ahead and grab you your I Meet You. Then you're going to activate I Meet You, reveal a Cyberse monster with 2200 attack from extra deck or hand. You're going to reveal your Shooting Code Talker. I'm telling you, it's essential in this combo. It's essential. So you reveal Shooting Code Talker, you're going to add a water at Ignister. So you're going to add your Hiyari at Ignister right there. And then this goes to grave. And then you're going to link these two off for your Cyberse Wicked right there. This Wicked. Right there. Effective Ignister Island, special summon Hiyari to zone it points to. Effective Wicked's going to activate. You're going to banish the Dark Infant and Grave to search for a Cyberse Tuner, which is going to be your Barura at Ignister. You're going to get that in your hand. And then you're going to activate Hiyari's effect, tributing the Cyberse Wicked to add a level 5 or higher at Ignister. So you're going to go ahead and grab your Gachiri at Ignister. And because you tributed the Cyberse monster, you're going to go ahead and grab your Eyes Ritual as well. And at that point, you're going to activate Gachiri's effect in hand, targeting Hiyari, negating its effects to summon itself. And then you're going to go ahead and link for a link 2. You're going to go ahead and summon your Cyberse Witch right there. Yeah. And then Effective Island's going to activate Tribute Baru, or not Tribute, Special Summon Baruru to the zone it points to. I guess it doesn't really matter which chain link you want to go. I usually just go chain link 1, chain link 2, but again, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Your opponent would have stopped you at this point, I guess, if they really wanted to. So, chain link 1, chain link 2. This resolves first. You're going to banish a spell from the graveyard, which you're going to have because you activated I Meet You earlier. So, banish the spell, and you're going to go ahead and search for your Cyberse Ritual monster, which is your Cyberse Magician, and your Signet Ritual. So, you have your hand right now is going to look like this. And Effective Baruru, you're going to go ahead and send an Adagnister monster from deck to grave. So you specifically want to send Doyon. If you have access to Doyon in your hand already, you're going to send Admari instead. But if it's literally just like, let's say a Chi-Chi and a bunch of hand traps and Solemn Strikes, then you're going to want to send Doyon. You can't send Admari. But again, if you have access to Doyon, you're going to want to send Admari instead. So you send Doyon, and then Effective Cyberse Witch. Because you activated that effect earlier, you can revive a Cyberse from grave. So you're going to special summon the Doyon. Effective Doyon on special summon. You're going to go ahead and get the Chi-Chi back to hand. Then you're going to go ahead and link these for your Dark Templar Adagnister. Right there. Effective Island, because you haven't summoned a fire with its effect yet, you're going to go ahead and special summon it. And then link it off for your second Dark Infant. Effective Dark Templar, and then Effective Dark Infant. You're going to move this over here, call Divine or whatever you don't really use, like Earth or something. But usually I just call Divine. And then Effective Templar resolves. You're going to summon your Chi-Chi, your Boruru, and your Picari right there. Summon them right here. I guess technically it doesn't matter which order you go, but at this point I usually like to summon my Cyberse Magician. So I'm just going to go ahead and activate Eyes Ritual to summon my Cyberse Magician. And because I control Adagnister monsters, I'm going to go ahead and banish materials from the graveyard. So I'm just going to banish Gachiri as the whole tribute. Summon my Cyberse Magician right there. I don't have a whole lot of space, I'm sorry. Summon Cyberse Magician in defense position. And then you're going to go ahead and synchro these two, Baruru and Picari, to make a level 7 synchro. You're going to go ahead and synchro for Cyberse Quantum Dragon, also over here in defense. And then Effective Baruru, because it was used as synchro material, you're going to go ahead and get your Picari and special summon that again. And then you're going to use your Dark Templar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, to make your Adagnister, or your Arrival Cyberse Adagnister with 4,000 attack. And there you go. That's the whole combo. That's how you get a 4,000 attack Arrival Cyberse Adagnister with the Cyberse Magician and a Cyberse Quantum Dragon. So that your opponent just can't target or attack any monsters you control. So they can't even out your Arrival Cyberse until they out these things. Unless they have a Kaiju, but that's a different story. But yeah, I think it's a really cool combo. I think it's really strong. I don't know if anyone else has found out about this combo, but I think it's really, really good. Because they just can't deal with this until they deal with this. But even dealing with this is really hard to do. And the reason why I summon them in defense is because I don't want to get Lightning Storm my opponent. And my opponent is going to kill these with that card. Like, you just summon in defense and just stop that. And it's not like they can attack him anyway. And again, if they actually manage to out both of them, or at least this one, you can get a search. So you can search for another Chi-Chi, and you just basically have plays for next turn again. But yeah, that's basically the whole combo as well as the deck profile. I think this deck performs really well. I'm not playing like a very competitive version. Like, I'm not playing with very expensive staples like Access Kotaku and things like that. But I mean, with just the cards that I have, I think it performs fairly well. A lot better than it did before Lightning Overdrive came out. So yeah, that's basically the whole deck. Just let me know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy it? If there's any other cards, any other tech cards you think would work better in here, just go ahead and let me know in the comment section. If there's any other deck profiles you would like to see, just go ahead and let me know about that too. Me and Max also opened up that case of Lightning Overdrive a while back, so I'm gonna go ahead and do other deck profiles on this channel too. Like, I have a ZW deck I want to show. I also have the Amazement archetype I want to show as well, and the Warrock archetype as well. And then Max has some other archetypes I want him to show on this channel too. Like I know he plays Scraps, and he also made the new Roserang archetype. So, well, it's not new, but they got support. So he's gonna go ahead and do the deck profile on those two. So just be prepared. We're gonna come back strong with all these videos. Sorry for the delay on this one, but without further ado, I'll go ahead and just call it there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.